Hello friends, welcome to my new tutorial how to upgrade your Flutter project to latest version Flutter 3. As of May 11, Flutter 3 has released with new features. So in this tutorial, we are going to take our existing project, we are going to upgrade it, and we'll also take this opportunity to learn a few new features about the Flutter. So let's get started. First thing I suggest you to do, please review the documentation. Please review the release notes in detail. So what we are going to do, we are first going to upgrade our project, then we'll go line by line of these items and let's see whatever is applicable to our project. We are going to make upgrades or we'll just review those features. Okay, all right, let's get started. So if you go to my GitHub repository, again, I'm going to include the link to this GitHub repository. If you are interested to know how this app works, there is a video tutorial series on this. All right, so as you can see, the pubspec.yaml file, this is an old Flutter 2 version. It's not that old, but still I'm going to upgrade it to the latest Flutter 3 version. All right, so let's open our Windows machine here. So I'm going to show the same thing in two different machines. One is Windows machine, one is Linux machine. So in my Windows machine, I'm going to run a command, say Flutter Doctor. All right, as you can see, I have Flutter 2.1 to 2.10 version. So now this needs to be upgraded. All right, let's go to our VNC server, and here I'm running an Ubuntu machine. So let me run a terminal emulator here. Let me run same command here, Flutter Doctor. Let's see what it gives you. So it's almost the same version, 2.10, and I need to upgrade this. All right, so let's go back to our Windows machine. So here, what you want to do here, I am going to cd into that healthcare app management app. What I just shown you at the GitHub repository. All the Flutter related code is inside that source directory. So let's cd into that. Okay, and here, as you can see, I do not have the Android toolchain, but it doesn't matter. Here, I'm going just to do a simple command, say Flutter upgrade. Okay, and don't be too hopeful that, I'm expecting it to be a simple upgrade, but let's see. Okay, so let's go cd into this same directory on the Linux terminal here. Here, unfortunately, I don't have that. I don't even have the app. So let me go copy this. I'm going to git clone this. So git clone, and I'm going to give the path to this GitHub repository. All right, git clone, give the path to this GitHub repository. It's going to take a few seconds, it will download that. Let me cd into that, and here I'm going to cd into src directory and shoot the same command, Flutter upgrade. All right, let's see, let's go back to our Windows machine back here again, and let's see what it did. Okay, it ran a few things. Let me run the Flutter Doctor command here. I wish I could make this screen a little bit bigger, but here, as you can see, it did not do anything. It's still running on 2.10. Okay, let's go back to our Linux machine now. As you can see, it's still running, so it looks like it completed. Let me run the Flutter Doctor again, and you can see the Flutter Doctor shows you that it's running on the latest version, 3.00. So Linux has been pretty smart about doing the upgrade. All right, so now we need to go back and fix our Windows machine. So let's go back to Windows machine again. All right, so here what I'm going to do, I'm going to manually update this. So let's figure it out where our Flutter installation has been. And as you can see, my Flutter bin, Flutter SDK is under a custom folder here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove the entire directory here. Let's manually force this to upgrade. So here, as you can see, I have the Flutter directory here. All right, Flutter. So I'm going to do a remove -r, force, and then give the path. Okay, I didn't like it. I think I have to spell it out, force, F-O-R-C-E. Let's go back, force, okay. Hit enter again. So what it's going to do is going to remove the Flutter directory forcefully. So let's go to our Flutter website and download this stable zip file. I'm going to again copy this to the same folder there. So otherwise you have to change your environment variable path. Okay. As you can see on right hand side, it will give you error that Flutter SDK could not be found. So here, let's copy this over. Okay, let's go to our command prompt window again. But it's just finished copying, by the way. So I'm going to run Flutter Doctor again, and hopefully if everything is all right, I didn't make any mistake, it will show you that you are running the Flutter on latest version 3.00. It looks like it. Okay, it looks pretty good now. So now let's go open our source code. All right, let's open pubspec.yaml file here. Please pay attention to this. This is my old pubspec.yaml file. I know the packets will be, upgraded after once I run the Flutter pubget. So just if you prefer, just take a copy of this. I already have it at GitHub, so I'm not going to make any extra copy. So let's go back to your VS Code. Again, the VS Code extension, I assume those may not have changed, but again, it's a good idea to refresh those anyway. Okay, I'm going to reinstall those. This step is totally optional, but again, I highly recommend you do that. Another crazy idea is now you have the new Flutter version. Let's create a new application. So Flutter, new project, and I'm going to give it a name, Amit Test. And just for the fun, this is just an optional, but again, you want to see what are the new packages here. And it's a good idea to manually compare your new pubspec.yaml file with the old one, so that you will know what exactly you are upgrading to. And here, again, it's a good idea to test your Flutter installation as well. So all I did, I installed these things. And this is new because I haven't seen that top bar that is running in a debug mode. Maybe it was my earlier configuration. I haven't seen that, but maybe I think it's. Let me run this from my Ubuntu machine itself, because right now here I'm using this SSH terminal window, so there might be some issues. That's why it's not working. Otherwise, it would have shown you the your local host page, or maybe you see that it says error. There's a debug connection. There's some problem with that connection has been refused. So let me sort this out. This is my particular machine configuration issue. So let me run the same command. Let me open the VS Code from the Ubuntu machine itself, and hopefully that will be a lot better. All right, so I'm inside my VS Code here. As you can see, it's giving me a lot nicer output here. Okay, now let me go to terminal window, and this time I want to run it properly here. So I'll say Flutter run -d Chrome. Okay, because I'm running a web version here, and as you can see, without any more changes, nothing. It used to work like that, but now it's the good thing is it's working like without any error. So now let me open this debugger window as well. Just want to make sure. Let's want to see the glance through it if there's anything different. And this my app is serving here. Let me click on the plus item, make sure that it runs. Okay, all right. Let's see the. Okay, I have to go through that. I don't exactly know what has been changed, but there's a new DevTools versions out there, so I'm pretty sure there's some enhancements to this debugger. Okay. All right, so let's start doing that what we initially intended to do. So let's go back to our app, Healthcare Management app. This is the app what we just downloaded from my GitHub repository, and you just want to quickly browse through it. I want to open pubspec or index.html file, because this was the web version. Again, first thing here's something I need to change. I need to update these credentials here. So let me just copy this over. All right, so then what I want to do, I want to get inside this source directory, and now I want to I just want to run it and see how it does. Okay, because I've got a new Flutter SDK, I upgraded it, and hopefully, I did a new Flutter pubget, and let's test this out. So hopefully without any error it should work, because again, as I said earlier, there isn't much change because I was already using Flutter 2.2. I just want to make sure that it runs without any problem on new Flutter version here. All right, as you can see, my the validation working fine. All the extreme controller I used, those are working fine, and it is getting connected to the Flutter. So that's the best part of it. I did not have to make any change. It's still able to connect to the Flutter. So as you can see, let me browse through a couple of other pages here. This is a complete application. If you're interested, I have another tutorial series on this. If you want to go through, this is how I've developed this application. It's a very beautiful, complete application, entirely built in Flutter. Okay, let me go through a couple of other pages here. Message, back to appointment. Yep, looks like most of the pages, supply chain reports, everything is working as expected. I will keep on testing my application. If there are any more changes, I will update my GitHub repository. But as of now, it looks pretty good now. Now let's go back to that release 3 documentation and start reviewing this one by one. So there are a couple of Medium articles. I definitely highly recommend you go through that. Please, please, please. What's new in Flutter 3? And there's another like introducing Flutter 3. Those are Medium, those are blogs, and I highly recommend, suggest you to go through the documentation. So here, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to, just go through this, like, what are the new things here. So they have recently introduced a games toolkit. So if you are into the games development, this is something definitely very, very new. And I will be getting my hands around this definitely, I love to develop some games here. So I will be making use of this application as well, okay. They have introduced a couple of new documentation for new Flutter developer. For the web application, I do a lot of coding because I recently switched from Angular to Flutter. So this is definitely something for me. So the web app, like in my example, I'm using a web app, and as you can see, they introduced a couple of changes here. Initially, your Flutter index.html file, it always loads to your main.js. But here they have made few changes here. They have introduced something called Flutter.js, and they have also introduced a add event listener. So what it does, Flutter Loader, and it's a beautiful thing here. It allows you for your web version. Most of the time, what happens if you're depending on JavaScript, sometimes your application takes some time to load it. So mean that time while your application is loading, you want to show a splash page or a loading icon. So definitely you will be able to do that. Now it's be careful, it looks a little bit different than your old index.html file here. I'll show you that in a minute how my old index.html file looks like. That's what it is, right? This is the new file, and as you can see, your new index.html, it does have flutter.js, but if you go back to your old Flutter it did not have that. It only had the main.js and a couple of other scripts, the Firebase connection configuration variables, but it did not have that Flutter.js. Now what you can do here, go to your source directory here where your file is, and all you need to do, flutter create dot. And this is nothing has changed. I think earlier this was the same command people used to do, and they have just written the same command. So all you need to do, go back to your file and just say flutter create dot, and hopefully that will create, that will not have any issues. But again, I highly recommend that use this feature because it gives you a splash screen, it gives you a loading icon, and a couple of other things. Okay, next thing, if you are doing the development on Mac OS, definitely they have introduced the support for Apple Silicon. This is a huge step forward for very happy Mac OS developer here. Okay, all right. This is definitely a feature people like me who have been waiting a long time, because I do a lot of development on Linux platform. So this particular upgrade makes me very, very happy. So what I can do, I have been developing for web version, iOS, Android, but I love Linux. So Linux is like, okay, how can I develop something for a Linux app? So here they makes it like, now out of the box they are giving a full-fledged support. So here what you need to do, let me show you run this command. It's very, very simple upgrade. So all you need to do, install snapd, which I already have. That should give me an error. Yeah, it says it's already installed. So what other things, there are a couple of things you will need, like client. I haven't gone through the details of this package these packages, but it doesn't harm anything. So looks like I can just copy this and run this in my command prompt window here. Okay, let me run this and install these packages on my Ubuntu machine. But this is something definitely I've been waiting for, how to do the development for the Linux. Okay, it's not running that. Let me debug this command. Let's go back to our Linux machine here. Here, one thing I did not notice that earlier, it was there just now. So it says Linux tool chain. So I'm so happy to see this, developed for Linux desktop. All right. Let's see, for macOS, you will see something a little different. You will see Xcode, but for Linux, this makes me happy. All right, let's do one thing. So here, what you want to do, you can cd into that. There's another command you want to issue if you're developing it for Linux. So flutter run -d Linux. So let me go try out this command, and I'm going to try this out on my existing project what I just upgraded. So flutter run -d Linux. Okay, and if you just instead of -d, if you put -f release, what it's going to do, it will create a release version of your it will create a Linux desktop app on your Linux machine. So flutter build Linux -f release. Awesome. There are a few other commands if you want to, like, create a bundle, bundle in a directory, and later on what you can do, advantage is like, doing it like this, so that you can take your package, and then you can export it, give it to someone else for deployment. All right, so that's pretty much it on the Linux side. So let's go. One thing I want to mention, they have a better support of Flutter Firebase. So I've been using Flutter Fire package anyway. I haven't gone through the detail what has changed, but I glanced through it, but you know, my app, what you just saw, is able to connect. There's no more changes, but definitely looks like there are some better support. There's new features out there. One thing I definitely want to call out, I'm very happy about this Crashlytics. So it's like an analytics. So whenever, what you can do, instead of a lot of time, what happens, like, you know, when you're running your Firebase connection to your Flutter, a lot of things can go wrong, and you want to know where exactly, you know, sometimes you want to debug what kind of connection is terminating and making, or what exactly that Flutter Fire package is doing. That has always been a black hole. So one good thing about it, you can, using Crashlytics on Firebase Analytics, you will be able to do that. So again, let's go to, you know, review those two Medium blocks at a very, you know, let's glance through it very high level. As you can see, they have, please go through this blog by yourself. I'm not going to, you know, I don't want to go through that and take credit of someone else's work they have done. One thing I want to call out, Linux and app material design. This is another thing where I'm very excited about this. I will be working on this. You know, I want to see what are the new material design features they have introduced. So definitely it looks like an upgrade from material design 2. All right, let's go back to that again. They have keep on saying they have a better support for Flutter Fire package, and you know, they already have the benchmarking tools. So, you know, perhaps next few days, what I will be doing, I will be doing some benchmark testing to see how much, you know, if there is any performance improvement in this area or not. We already talked about the casual games. Right, let's go review the second article, second blog, what's new in Flutter 3. This gives you a very high level, you know, again, the summary of the what has been changed. So Linux and Mac OS stable release features. They have a new Mac OS system menu bar. So if you're developing for Mac OS, definitely this is something you want to take a look at that. They, you know, accessibility on all desktop platform. Okay, what else? So you can, you know, now you can develop a foldable phone. For example, if you have a Samsung phone, foldable devices, you can start developing for those. All right. Simplified iOS releases. This is I really want to appreciate Flutter's team for doing this, and I will be making use of this. I haven't, you know, again, I have to go through an experiment. This is what I was talking about. When you're developing for web app, these three features: a splash screen, loading indicator, and plain stable interactive landing page. This is again, I'm very excited about this. I'm going to try these three features out. So here looks like, you know, is a simple JavaScript. You have to start, like, you know, first I have to develop a splash screen, loading indicator, and the third thing, HTML interactive landing page. I really want to see what this does. So in my next app, definitely this is something I will include that in near future. All right, that's pretty much it. That looks, I think there are a lot of other features. I'm 100% sure there are some features in the Dart language and the Flutter lints and Flutter packages itself. Those are, like, you know, as a developer, we need to know about it. Definitely as a user, you don't need to, but, you know, as a developer, definitely we should be aware of that. So please spend some time on the Dart language, .dev and Flutter.dev, and figure it out, like, you know, what are the changes. I heard about they have made some changes in the coding, like enums. They are better, so they have better support for provider packages, enum, and there's one more thing, super.key. You know, those are things I'm very excited about this. Definitely that will help you a lot. So this is all I had to share. Thank you for watching. If you have any question, anything you want to share, and you want to know if you need any help, like how to upgrade your current project, please leave a comment on my YouTube video, or maybe go to my GitHub repository, and I will be happy to help you out. Thank you very much.